Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? Welcome to Story Time with the Dutton S. Peterson Memorial Library. My name is Laura, and today we have stories and a craft about snow, because maybe if you look outside your window, we have a nice blanket of snow that came. Maybe you don't have snow where you are, but you can maybe appreciate snow anyways. So, the stories that we'll read today include 10 Ways to Hear Snow, written by Kathy Camper, illustrated by Kennard Pack. Another story about snow is The Snowy Day, a classic book by Azra Jack Keats. Very special book. And also Snow, just Snow, the title, by Uri Shulowitz. So those are our books that we'll read. We'll also be cutting some snowflakes, a very basic thing, but a lot of fun and room for a lot of experiments. So here's just a sample that I made earlier, but I'll walk everybody through the instructions on how to make your own snowflakes. So we'll be exploring the senses with snowflakes. These books all explore different senses, our eyes, ears, touch. Yeah, so welcome. I'm so glad you're here, and we'll get started reading. So the first book to read about snow is the title Snow by Uri Shulowitz. And snow. This book is for Margaret Ferguson and for Kiddo. The skies are gray, the rooftops are gray, the whole city is gray. Then, one snowflake. It's snowing, said Boy with Dog. It's only a snowflake, said Grandfather with Beard. Then, two snowflakes. It's snowing, said Boy with Dog. It's nothing, said Man with Hat. Then three snowflakes. It's snowing, said Boy with Dog. It'll melt, said Woman with Umbrella. People aren't that excited about snow. A few snowflakes float down and melt, but as soon as one snowflake melts, another takes its place. No snow, said radio. No snow, said television. But snowflakes don't listen to radio. Snowflakes don't watch television. All snowflakes know is snow, snow, and snow. Snowflakes keep coming and coming and coming. circling and swirling, spinning and twirling, dancing, playing, there and there. Floating, floating through the air, falling, falling everywhere. The city is covered. And rooftops grow lighter and lighter. It's snowing, said Boy with Dog. Look at all the characters now. Do you recognize them? The rooftops are white. The whole city is white. Snow, said the boy. A beautiful place. That is the end. Snow, the title of that book, if you'd like to read it. All of these books are in the library for you to check out anytime. So, our next book now is using different senses maybe this time. We're going to be using our ears, called 10 Ways to Hear Snow, written by Kathy Camper, illustrated by Kennard Pack. 10 Ways to Hear Snow. The dedication for this book is to all my Lebanese family, especially my Lebanese aunties, who encourage my love of books. The author and the illustrator is to my dear aunt, Jong Ok Song. When Lena woke up, everything was quiet. No cars honked, no buses chugged, no garbage trucks gulped trash across the street. Snow. Last night's blizzard was gone, leaving the city muffled and white. But today was Grape Leaf Day, when Lena would help her grandma make warak anab. Siti was losing her eyesight, and Lena loved helping her cook. I want to tell Siti about the snowstorm and make sure she's okay. The snow's so deep, Lena's mom said. We could go with you, Lena's dad offered. But Lena wanted to go to cities by herself. Stay warm, Habibti, her dad told her. Lena bundled up. Outside, the sun on the snow was bright white as a light bulb. Lena squinched her eyes and pulled her scarf over her nose. She could barely see. I wonder if this is how Siti feels, Lena thought. The world sounded softer, but the noises she heard were clearer. Lena's neighborhood. Scrape, scrip, scrape, scrip. What was that? It was Mrs. Watson's shovel digging out the sidewalk. That's one way to hear snow, Lena thought. Lena walked down the street. Sneak, sneak, sneak. The noise was low to the ground. What was that? It was the treads of Lena's boots crunching snow into tiny waffles. 2 ways to hear snow. Lena ducked under a pine tree. Ploomp! A powdery sound. A blue jay on a branch had knocked down snow. 3 ways to hear snow, Lena counted. She listened for more. Swish, 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 swish. What was that soft, whiskering noise? People were sweeping snow off their cars. Their brushes made the 4th way to hear snow. So just like last week when we practiced counting, doing some more counting. Let's try. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 ways to hear snow so far. Lena cut across the park. Scritch, scratch, scritch, scratch. Another snow noise? Lena saw long, skinny tracks by her boots. Ahead of her, people were skiing. Their skis made the 5th way to hear snow. Rashid and Miriam were building a snowman. Pat, pat, pat. What was that? It was Mittens smoothing the snowman's head. The gentle sound made the 6th way to hear snow. A beautiful scene. As Lena walked away, her friends whispered and laughed. Thump! Oh no! Lena ran away as fast as she could from the 7th way to hear snow. What do you think that is? Looking at her friends. Snowball fight. Lena reached City's building, all out of breath, her boots covered with white powder. Stomp, stomp, stomp. Lena giggled. She was making the 8th way to hear snow. Hello, Lena, the lady in the lobby said. Go on in. She pointed toward Lena's grandma's room. Lena tapped at the door. Surprise, City, it's me. I came to make grape leaves with you. Lena threw her coat and mittens on the radiator to dry. Wonderful. The lamb and rice are ready, City said. Yalla, I can't wait, Lena shouted. Let's get started. Lena rinsed the grape leaves and placed them on towels. Looking in at Grandma's kitchen. Put some filling in the center, roll them up, and put them in the pot, City instructed. So, as we can see here, got the grape leaf, filling in the middle, then fold the edges over on both sides, and then roll it up. Little grape leaf roll. They're like little grape leaf cocoons, Lena said, looking at them piled on the plate. Or lots of little sleeping bags, Sati replied. Ha! Mine looks like a mustache. Lena held her stuffed grape leaf under her nose. City held hers under her nose, too. That's good. She wrinkled up her face and said, "We look like a couple of real tough guys," in a tough guy voice. City, did you know we had a blizzard last night? Of course. Lena was surprised. How could her grandma know when she couldn't see very well? Then she heard a noise. Drip, drip, went the mittens. It was the sound of snow melting. 9 ways to hear snow. Suddenly, Lena understood how City knew. City, did you hear the snow? City smiled. Each morning, I open the window and listen. Today, everything sounded hushed and soft. No noise is the sound that means it's snowing. City, I listened too. I heard snow 9 different ways. Shovels were 1, boots were 2, the blue jay was 3. Slow down, Habibti. I want to hear them all, but right now, shh. Sati went to the window and opened it again. Listen, she said. Outside, the late afternoon blue was completely still. Quiet is the 10th way to hear snow. Beautiful. The back of the book says, when the world goes quiet, we learn to listen. So maybe the next time you're outside and there's snow, just looking to our windows here with snow, maybe you listen a little bit and see what you hear. Do you hear crunching? Do you hear absolutely nothing? Quiet? The next thing I think we could do is a little stretch, just to keep us moving and warmed up and maybe wake up. So you can either stay sitting in a chair or the ground, or maybe you stand up. The next thing to do, if you would like, to stand up with your feet nice and wide as they are comfortable. And next we're going to make a snowflake with our body. So raise your hands up nice and high and nice and wide. Make your fingers nice and wide like snowflakes. And now let's wiggle our hands like snow. And breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. And now let's do that one more time. And as you blow out, make the sound of snow, whatever kind of snow you want. Maybe it's a windstorm with lots of snow, and lower all the way to the ground. Feel that nice stretch on your legs. Maybe go back and forth a little bit. What other sound can you think of for snow? Or scratch, 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 scratch. Now come up and raise your hands up once more, nice and tall. Feel a nice stretch in your whole body, nice and big, like a big snowflake. Wiggle your hands. Okay. We can come back together now. Our nice morning stretch. And we have one more book to read before our craft project, called The Snowy Day by Ezra Jack Keats. snowy day. Illustration on that page. Snowy day. This book is to Tick, John, and Rosalie. One winter morning, Peter woke up and looked out the window. Snow had fallen during the night. It covered everything as far as he could see. After breakfast, he put on his snowsuit and ran outside. The snow was piled up very high along the street to make a path for walking. Crunch, crunch, crunch. His feet sank into the snow. He walked with his toes pointing out like this. He walked with his toes pointing in like that. Then he dragged his feet slowly to make tracks. And he found something sticking out of the snow that made a new track. What do you think it could be? It was a stick. A stick that was just right for smacking a snow-covered tree. What would happen when he smacks a tree, do you think? Snow fell. Down fell the snow. Plop. On top of Peter's head. Then what is he doing here, do you think? He thought it would be fun to join the big boys in their snowball fight, but he knew he wasn't old enough. Not yet. So he made a smiling snowman, and he made angels. That's a great solution to that problem. He pretended he was a mountain climber. He climbed up a great, big, tall, heaping mountain of snow and slid all the way down. Look at that beautiful snow in the air. Magical. He picked up a handful of snow and another and still another. He packed it round and firm and put the snowball in his pocket for tomorrow. Then he went into his warm house. He told his mother all about his adventures while she took off his wet socks. Has that ever happened to you when playing outside, getting soaked socks? And he thought and thought and thought about them. Before he got in bed, he looked in his pocket. His pocket was empty. The snowball wasn't there. He felt very sad. While he slept, he dreamed that the sun had melted all the snow away. But when he woke up, his dream was gone. The snow was still everywhere. New snow was falling. Look how happy he looks. After breakfast, he called to his friend from across the hall, and they went out together into the deep, deep snow. That is the end. So, lots of inspiration there for things that you can do out in the snow by yourself or with your friends or family. But our next thing we can do right inside, just lift this up a little bit, for our next activity, which is making snowflakes. So all we need is a piece of paper, like that. Any kind of paper. This is computer paper, but I also have some crinkly paper that I found here at my house that we can use because, like one of our books, we can hear different sounds that the paper makes, which might be interesting. And we'll need some scissors and possibly something to write with, but not necessarily. And we do have these materials at the library if you would like to make your snowflakes there. But I'll show some basic techniques here and just kind of play and experiment today. So the first step is to take one sheet of paper, and we're going to take one corner and fold it up so that these edges, these two edges, are flush with each other. They match up perfectly to make a triangle, kind of a triangle. So the idea for snowflakes is to use a paper that is square. A square has even sides, but a lot of papers aren't square already, but we can make them into a square by folding it into a triangle and then cutting along this top edge here. So we're going to cut off the extra that isn't a square. Just carefully and slowly cut along with scissors. If you don't have scissors, you could just fold and tear that off. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then the next step is to fold this triangle in half from one corner to the other corner, like this. And then there are lots of different ways you can fold this paper from here to create different snowflakes. I sometimes like to fold this side, which is on my left, toward the middle in half and fold it down, and take the right side and fold that in half like this. And the idea is to fold it and then cut it to create repetition in pattern with these shapes. So you could draw out a design if you would like by just drawing shapes, especially along the folds like this. I like to use triangles to start off because they're nice and simple and easy. Maybe a big triangle here, like this. Maybe one more like this. And let's just see what happens when we cut these shapes out. All snowflakes, as you might know, are different and unique. So the snowflakes that we each make by cutting out paper are going to be different and unique. Just like all of us. We are all different Each one of us, even if we have a twin, we're still a little bit different in what we like, what we're talented at, and that is all amazing. We're all so different. Now, once you've cut out the shapes you've wanted to cut out, you can open it up and see what kind of snowflake you've made. Ah, so this one has a sort of star shape in the middle, which is kind of interesting. All these shapes cut out. So this is one way you might fold and cut your snowflake. We have at the library, we'll have these handouts available for patterns and templates if you would like to experiment with more shapes that other people have tried out. So let's try another one just to see what happens. Maybe this time I'll experiment with my crinkly paper to see what kind of noise my snowflake can make. So I'll cut out a square first. And make sure that it's a square shape by folding it like a triangle first. And then cut out along this other edge. And now fold the triangle in half again from corner to corner. It's a little wrinkled, but that's okay. You can use really any paper for this. Old newspaper, wrapping paper. Maybe you have lots of wrapping paper from the holidays, or tissue paper. Maybe this time I'll fold it again in half from corner to corner. And draw out one of the patterns from this paper. And I'll just use my eye for this. But it looks like I have a line here, and here, and this shape. Little triangle, and a curve. This time we have lots of curves in our snowflake. So let's see what happens. A long cut here. Be careful not to cut too far to keep everything intact. Now let's open up and see what we get. Ooh, this one has, I don't know if you can see, there's some heart shapes in it. Beautiful and delicate. So as we move this one, what do we hear? Crinkle, crinkle, crinkle. How fun. Each snowflake sounds a little bit different. So you can make as many of these as you like, and after you've made them, you could think about different ways to display them. Maybe tying a piece of string to one of the holes so you can then dangle it, hang it from somewhere in your house or in your room. Maybe you string a few together so that they're connected, or tape them to a window. There's so many different ways to show these snowflakes. But at this point, I think I'll let you continue on making snowflakes at your house, or maybe go outside and listen to the snow or play in the snow, build something with snow. I don't know if it'll last forever. We've got a lot of sun today, but I hope that you enjoy it. Thank you all so much for sharing your time with us today from the library, and hope to see you next week. Bye bye.